There's a crisis of missing fathers in our community. Even though there are millions of black families with fathers doing the right thing, being present in their children's lives, there are others who are not handling their business. Last winter, we did 2 programs on fatherhood at Bishop T.D. Jakes Potter's house in Dallas. Studies show that children who spend quality time with their fathers do better in all aspects of life, and black men are stepping up in their own families, as well as encouraging other men to do the same. One man who is doing that is a former NBA player, a leading participant in President Obama's Fatherhood Initiative, and the author of Fatherhood, Rising to the Ultimate Challenge. Etan Thomas, welcome to Washington Watch.
Well, thanks for having me. First
off, man, this is an issue that is really important to me. I always talk about it. I'm often mentioning my dad as well. And one of the reasons why is because, you know, so often, man, even when watching sports, NBA games and watching NFL games, it's always hi mom, hi mom, hi mom. And even if daddies were in the live, a lot of times daddies get no love.
Right.
And so for you, why did you say, you know what, man, I've got to speak to this issue of fatherhood?
Well, there's so many different reasons, and in the book I covered a lot of different topics. Each chapter is a different topic, and I wanted to get men from all different walks of life talking on the different topics. And one of my main motivations for this was that there's a lot of young people out there who are growing up in situations where they don't have a father.
Right.
So then what happens to them? You know, we know the statistics, we know what the numbers show, but that doesn't mean that they still can't make it in life. So I do a lot of work in correctional facilities and, you know, speak to a lot of schools, something I started doing here when I was with the Wizards. It's just a passion of mine. And I go there and I see the common theme is a lot of times that young men have a lot of anger inside of them.
Right.
You know, from not having their father there. It's pent up anger that's just waiting to just burst. And I want to tell them that there are men who have gone through what you're going through and have still made the right choices, made the right decisions, and become successful in life. And I wanted to show them that in this book.
You have folks like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Yao Ming, Ice Cube, Michael Moore. I also wrote something in there, Tony Dungy. And so when you have all of these men from so many different backgrounds, isn't it important to also make it clear that you're not speaking just from a black middle class, black upper class, lived in a suburban neighborhood, went to a private school, went to Ivy League school.
Right.
These are folks who are multicultural, who are folks who are still in prison. I see Mumia Abu-Jamal, and folks who are successful in business.
Right, because fatherhood is like a fraternity that crosses racial color lines and religion and political backgrounds. It crosses it all. And so what Howard Dean is going through is the same thing that Ice Cube is going through. And Yao Ming is learning for the same way that Damian Marley is learning. So I wanted to get everybody getting their opinions and their voices, because it really is a commonality.
I make the point all the time that impregnating a woman does not grant you access to the fraternity of fatherhood.
I definitely agree. You know, being a father is far more than just impregnating a woman. And that's what I wanted to show. It's not coming from the standpoint of shaking my finger at anybody, because I'm not an expert. I'm not a fatherhood expert. I have 3 wonderful kids, but they're little. My son Malcolm is 6, and my daughter Imani is 4, and Sierra is 2.
But you're an expert in your own house.
Yeah, but I'm still learning. Every
Right.
day is a new journey, something new that happens. You know what I mean? So I'm not an expert at all. But I wanted to really be able to show young people and show men in general the beauty of fatherhood. You know, and listen to Taye Diggs tell his story about the birth of his son Walker. And you could almost see his patented Taye Diggs smile beaming from the pages. You know, listen to Andre Agassi tell about his kids, or Stuart Scott talking about his daughters. And it's like, this is what you're missing out on. You know what I mean? This passion and this love, because you can't talk about your kids without seeing that passion just exude. You know, because your children, you know, when they're looking like you, and they're doing things that you remember doing when you were younger, and you're trying to teach them and guide them, and you want so much for them, and it just comes out, and that's what you're missing out on if you're not taking that active role in your kid's life.
One of the issues we also know about is that you have dysfunction when it comes to men and women who were either in a relationship, it might have been a one-night stand, it might have been a marriage, and the children then get caught up in that drama. And so I often make the point that we've got to deal with these crazed parents to understand that, look, how you are behaving also is going to affect those children. You had to deal with the issue of divorce.
Definitely.
In terms of family.
Right. My parents got divorced when I was young. And
some divorces are amicable, and some are extremely painful.
Right, but divorce is pretty much common. You know, I didn't know. I just had a conversation with my son the other day, a few days ago, and I didn't even know that he really knew what a divorce was. And he broke it down for me. He's like, yeah, most of the kids in my class are divorced. You know, that's when parents don't love each other and they live in different places. One parent has visitations, and then he broke it down. I was like,
Right.
what? How did you know all of this? You know, but my situation when I was younger, I had a relationship with my father. I saw him like once or twice a month, you know, visitations, but it's not the same as having him in the home.
Every day.
Right, it's completely different. So I can relate to that anger of not having my father there as much as I would have wanted him to be. You know what I mean? So right, it wasn't as bad a situation as some of my boys that I could tell that, you know, some guys were like, wow, you see your father twice a month? That's great. You know, where I'm upset, where I only see my father twice a month. So it kind of, you know, it's like the man who didn't know how good he had it. The man with no shoes didn't know how good he had it until he saw the man with no feet. So that's what I had to go through. But there's a lot of anger inside of young men, and I can relate to that anger. You know what I mean? But you have to deal with it. T.D. Jakes, that you mentioned earlier, has a great book right now called Let It Go. But that is hard.
Right.
That is a hard thing to do, but it's something that's really, you have to do. And I talk to young men in correctional facilities all the time who can't do that and haven't done that. And that's why I want to show them and inspire them that it is possible.
And the last question to that point, breaking those generational curses.
Right.
I do not believe, nor do I accept the belief that we simply are going to continue to have 70% of black children born out of wedlock. I do believe that cycle can be broken. I believe the cycle can be broken where black men who are not handling their business today can, through education, through mentoring, can step up and be fathers tomorrow.
Definitely. And it's just a matter of maybe doing what you were not shown when you were younger. You know, one thing I do a lot about with the guys that I work with is I say, you know, close your eyes and imagine your son or daughter feeling the way that you felt when you were younger. And nobody wants their son or daughter to feel that way. So you can still be successful. There's a saying that, you know, you could learn anything from a man, even if it's what not to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you can still learn. And President Obama is the ultimate example. You know, he didn't know his father. He met his father once or twice. He talks about it in his book. So if he can make it to be the president of the United States, you know what I mean? That means that you can make it to be anything that you want to be.
The book is called Fatherhood, Rising to the Ultimate Challenge. Forward is by Tony Dungy. The book is by Etan Thomas. Man, I appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. When we come back.